Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
This hour sponsored by Bettor. Bettor picks the daily fantasy sports app where your sports knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download Bettor or visit Bettor.app now. Sign up today. Get a free $10. No deposit necessary. BETR, Bettor.app. Go get it.
In this hour, we'll get into Major League Baseball. Triple Crown talk, yes-no playoff odds, the schedule, the matchups. The meat man, Steve Wyss, on the program. Best bets in soccer. That's in 30 minutes. He was 5-0 on the program last week. And we have look-ahead numbers in Week 4 of the National Football League right now. More on this Bills-Dolphins game tonight as we head out here to the Progressive guest line. John Wawrow joins the program now. He covers the Bills for the Associated Press. John, thanks for the time today. You're ready at the stadium, so it's a long day for you. We appreciate it. How are you?
Not bad. Like I was telling you guys before off the air, it's a warm day. It's a nice day. It's almost Miami type weather in September, but yeah, it's another night game for the Bills, which is something they've become accustomed to. Yeah,
well, they deserve it for sure. I'm going to begin here. So obviously Buffalo is a huge favorite tonight. Now at Circa, they're laying 11 points, so it's come down a little bit in Miami's favor. The total is 50.5. When you look at advanced numbers through 2 games, Miami's defensive DVOA overall, they're 28th. They are 31st against the pass. They're 30th guarding tight ends and 31st against running backs. Do you think this defense will provide any resistance at all to this machine on offense for Buffalo?
The only thing I hesitate is every time the Bills seem to be double-digit favorites is the game winds up being close. So I would pick the under. I think it's going to be a 9-point game. But to your point, I think it's going to be a shootout, and I don't know how the Dolphins can stop the Bills once Josh Allen gets rolling. And, he's gotten off to a few slow starts, but they've opened each game with an opening drive touchdown. So they're playing with the lead, and that helps. And the Bills defense certainly seems to have Tua's number over the course of his career.
I have that right here, actually. In his career, Tua is 1-8 against the Bills. His average game, 19 of 29 for 203 yards, 1 touchdown, and more than 1 INT with a rating of 80.5. Why do you think they match up so well against him?
I really can't tell you. Just there's something about the Bills being in knowing how to go after this guy. I think it's partly because he's not as mobile as I think many people think he is. And he's an easy target. He likes to stand in the target, likes to stand in the pocket, so he becomes an easy target in the Bills' scheme of things. There's been some bad hits that he's taken. I think he's broken his ribs. He sustained a concussion against the Bills. And it's just one of those things that the Bills seem to have his number no matter what time of year it is.
They got the big win and the come-from-behind win Week 1 against Baltimore. They play in an easy division. Obviously, they have a talented roster. How much talk there is about the 1 seed, and do you think they're going to be able to secure the 1 seed?
Right. I think it's wide open to them now, especially with Kansas City faltering. They've got the win over Baltimore already. I'm not sure who else is going to challenge them. It's early, of course, but it's the way the division is set up and how weak it is. The West is going to beat itself up. The North is going to beat itself up. And the South seems, I don't know, I'm not sure if Indy's for real, but they're good. But how good are they? So it's the path is wide open for the Bills. They won't say it, but I think the 1 seed is the one thing that they're missing and the one thing that they're shooting for. And if you look at their home record, they're 12-0 in their past 12 regular season games going back to 2023. And I think this being the final season of what we call the Ralph, Highmark Stadium, I think Josh Allen and the Bills are driven to finish this perfect. They have these small little incentives, internal incentives that drive them, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of them.
Is the defense good enough to get to the Super Bowl?
I think we're barring injury, and Matt Milano is probably not going to play today. And Ed Oliver's Matt Milano's not going to play today, and Ed Oliver is out. This is a defense that is expected to get better as the season develops. Ask me this maybe in late November or early December.
Okay.
Because they brought in a whole bunch of young guys, and they're counting on them to develop and catch up. And so I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was last year. And it was bad last year by design because of the salary cap issues. But this year, if Joey Bosa can stay healthy, they've got something going on there.
So you mentioned it there. Without Oliver and Milano in this game tonight, the Dolphins not exactly terrific so far at running the football because they've been behind in these games or playing in a shootout like last week. Do they try to get Achane going behind this questionable offensive line? Are they going to be dumping it off to him? Who do you think is like the best weapon here for Miami to exploit those two injuries on the Buffalo side?
Well, I think Achane is the guy to try to test this defense. Yes, they played Breece Hall well, and yes, they shut down the Jets to 154 yards. But the Dolphins' offense is superior than the Jets. And this is a defense that still had a lot of trouble against Baltimore. So, if I'm Miami, you want to attack what is considered their weakness, and that would be their interior. And that's where Achane has to really, I think, step up, run to set up the pass and get Tyreek Hill going.
On the flip side, we had a guest on in the previous hour, Paul Charchian, who made a great case tonight for Khalil Shakir to go off. And his yards prop is 40.5. Would you be in the same boat there with this being a Shakir game, or is there somebody else that you like on Buffalo's side?
I mean, you never know who's going to have the hot hand, but Josh Allen has thrown, 40 touchdowns, including playoffs, against the Dolphins. So somebody is going to heat up. I like Khalil. He's not been used all that much, but I think a sneaky play is Joshua Palmer. Because I liked what he showed in the Baltimore game, and the passing game couldn't get really going against the Jets, nor did they need to. But this is a defense that Josh Allen thrives on. So I would expect a lot. I would expect all three guys to have pretty good games because the Bills seem to, if you look back, all 13, I want to say, of their wins against the Dolphins, they've scored 21 or more points. They're averaging 31.5 points against the Dolphins since Josh Allen arrived in 2018. So start all three of them if you want.
Okay.
Last year at home, Bass bailed them out with a long field goal. It's nice to have Prater. Well, how long are they going to go with Prater, and what are you hearing on the return of Bass?
Well, we've not got any updates on Bass because we really haven't asked about it. I think this is the week we will start asking because Bass is eligible to come off IR after the game next weekend against the Saints. So he's eligible to come off in week 4. However, right now I think Matt Prater has really been welcomed into this locker room. I mean, you come in on a red eye and hit a game winner, a walk-off game winner. So I think the Bills have the ability to kind of, punt this down the road. They don't need, there's not a big need right now to activate Tyler Bass. I'm curious to see how this plays out over the course of the season because one thing to keep in mind is Bass has been bothered by this hip injury going back to training camp. I wouldn't put it past them if Prater continues to play well, that they shut Bass down and maybe have him have surgery if that's necessary. There's been no talk of that, but this is something that's been lingering, and I don't think it's something that the Bills they don't or need to really rush Bass back into the lineup.
Totally fair. John, kickoff is coming up in a little bit more than 3 hours. Again, you're already there in Orchard Park at the stadium. Have you heard anything, any discussions there, maybe amongst the folks in from Miami covering the game as well? Like if this is a complete blowout and it doesn't look good for Miami and it's maybe similar to the Colts game where they just look totally unprepared and the game was over with like in the first half. If it's like a 30-point game, whatever the number might be, is this it for McDaniel? Could he get fired tonight?
Well, I do. His seat's not going to get any colder if they lose this game. Maybe a good showing might help, but I think everybody is aware of what is on the line and how much this is a must-win. As I wrote, an early season referendum on Mike McDaniel's tenure in Miami after just just barely 4 seasons. I wouldn't put it past the Dolphins to make a move, but I'm not going to say that they're going to fire him or not if they lose. But things are having covered the Bills during their 17-year playoff drought. You can sense when a coach is in trouble, given the questions and given the outside pressures. And I do sense that Mike McDaniel is on the hot seat at this point. Whether something happens tomorrow after a loss, I'm not sure. I can't make that prediction. But the Dolphins, go back to Joe Philbin. He lasted 4 games into the 2015 season. So the Dolphins haven't, they have made coaching changes early in the past. So who knows? But it doesn't look good for Mike McDaniel unless things turn around.
Very good recall there. You can follow John on X. He is at John_WAWROW, covers the Bills for the AP. John, enjoy the game tonight. Thanks so much for the time.
Hey, thanks, guys. Enjoy the evening.
You too.
Back at you. Down to 11 though here at Circa. DraftKings still showing 12.5. And that's with 81% of the bets, 69% of the handle on the Bills here at vsin.com with the betting splits.
Yep.
Buying into the dog.
Can't do it. Between the players only meeting right off the bat, and it just seems, I like that email too, or the tweet rather, comparing it to Staley on that Thursday night game.
We will hit Major League Baseball up next. A big name retiring at the end of the season. Triple Crown talk. Yes, no playoff odds. Tonight's schedule here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Coming up in 15 minutes, the meat man, Steve Wyss, will join the program. His best bets in soccer. A lot of good angles again this week. He was 5-0 last week. See if he can follow it up with a nice encore coming up for this weekend in that sport. Major League Baseball here, in case you missed it a little bit earlier. Clayton Kershaw announced that he is going to retire at the end of this season. Crazy how fast time goes by. I remember when he was coming up and Vince Scully was calling the games, and people said that Kershaw has the best breaking ball out of any prospect they've ever seen. I think he probably lived up to that.
Mm-hmm. And his final home start will be tomorrow at home against the Giants. Kershaw against Robbie Ray.
What a game.
That's a good one tomorrow.
Remember when he got earlier this year, strikeout number 3,000, Dodger Stadium with like 55,000 people. They were going crazy. Mm-hmm. I love seeing it, man. A guy stays there and plays for the same team his whole career and does it all with one team, one organization.
Yeah. Let me give you all the numbers. Before this morning, Cleveland was 12-1 to win the division. They swept Detroit. They're now 9-1. 3.5 back could be the biggest comeback in MLB history. The Dodgers are $7, even though they're only 2 games up. Houston's $1.40. They're now tied with Seattle. Seattle goes to Houston tomorrow. It's Wu against Brown, Kirby against Valdez, and Gilbert against Alexander.
Do you have numbers to win that division?
They were $1.40. They're still $1.40. Houston.
Seattle got as high as minus 185 this week.
Good job though. They moved the chains. They took 2 out of 3 in Kansas City, but a lot of it's scheduled. See, here's the tough part. They get Colorado at home, which is a layup. But can you win? Can you take 2 out of 3 in Houston? And I believe if you can't, then Houston also wins the tiebreaker. I think they're tied right now. So whoever wins that series is going to win the tiebreaker, and then they close with the Dodgers.
Right.
But do the Dodgers do anything? Do they need it? And the Astros are on the road. They go to Sacramento, and then I think Anaheim.
Can I ask you, what are your thoughts on that, by the way? How these teams close with interleague rivals.
That's a horrible job.
I can't stand it.
That's a bad job by the league.
Yep.
No doubt. Cleveland was 4-1 to make the playoffs. They're now a game and a half behind Boston, who lost. Boston was 14-1 10 days ago to miss the playoffs.
Oh, boy.
Now it's 6-1. The Mets won, so they're 2 games up on Arizona, the Reds, and the Giants. The Giants start the 4-game set in Dodger Stadium. They also have St. Louis and Colorado left. Arizona plays Philly, the Dodgers, and the Padres. The Reds play the Cubs for 4 tonight. Pirates at home, they get Skeens, and they close with the Brewers. Who knows? Mets get Washington, the Cubs, and the Marlins. And Cleveland goes 4 at Minnesota, Detroit, and Texas. to close.
You might get 3 innings out of Skeens in that game. Who knows how these managers will treat this stuff.
Integrity of the game.
I would hope that
it's on a Wednesday. They pushed him back. He's pitching Wednesday. He should go at least 6 in that game.
I would not hold my breath.
Yeah, I know. It's his final start of the season as well. Houston's 12-1 to miss. Texas is 12-1 to make. Reds are 5-1. Giants are 12-1. Arizona's 8-1. Even though they're 2 back, but they have a brutal schedule. And as I said earlier, Boston and Seattle own the tiebreaker over Cleveland. Seattle has the tiebreaker over Boston. Remains to be seen what happens with Houston and Seattle coming up this weekend. But a good sweat here in the last couple series.
Do you want to call it curtains for Texas?
Yeah, it's over.
They have 3 with the Guardians, but they get 6 combined against the Twins and the Marlins.
No.
Most teams have 9 games to play. Those that don't have 10. And Boston plays 3 against Toronto, 3 against Detroit, 3 against Tampa Bay.
It's tough.
Tough. Well, I tell you what, they better hope that Toronto. When do they get Toronto?
That's next week.
So they better hope that
start the week, I believe.
That Toronto has it clinched or close to it by then.
Yeah.
And the Yankees.
It's on the road though. I mean, it's.
I want to say that they better hope the Yankees go into a tailspin. But the Yankees have 3 against the White Sox, 7 against Baltimore. Although I will say, are those games against Baltimore going to be gimmies?
No way. They're playing well.
The games against the Twins this week were not gimmies.
That's right.
Minnesota was live there.
Mm-hmm. I think the Red Sox are going to miss, and Cleveland's going to do this. Now, it's a big 4-game series in Minnesota, and you got the doubleheader Saturday. But they won 12 of 13, and the pitching's been fantastic.
Remember, they just
beat Scooble.
They had that really long losing streak, too.
Yeah.
If they could have just been I don't know, I think it was a 10-game or an 11-game losing streak. We mentioned it at the time. If they could have just treaded water at that point, maybe gone 4-6, they'd be, in first place today of the division?
15.5 back in July. 3.5 back of the division, 1.5 back of a wild card spot.
Yeah, and don't forget again that 2 guys are under investigation for betting on sports potentially here.
Yeah. So I looked at your numbers here, and the Brewers are a big favorite. And again, how long will he go? But I think he can get at least 5 innings. Milwaukee's won the last 18 appearances by Priester, 15 starts. He's won 12 consecutive decisions. He is plus $1.40 to get a win tonight against Kikuchi. Seems pretty good. And they're 2.5 up on Philly for the 1 seed and have the tiebreaker. Fried is $1.10 to get the win. He's 4-0 with a 1.98 the last 5. Yankees got in at 5 in the morning, though. It's Povich for Baltimore. They're playing well, but I would think they should be able to get to him, and they play 7 times in the last 11 days.
What does Fried have? I think he has 17 wins on the year.
Is that many?
Isn't he tied with Peralta for the most in all of Major League Baseball? There was that thing for, to begin the season where he was so good after a loss.
Yeah.
That kind of tailed off a little bit. And let me get you Kikuchi splits here on the season, if my laptop will cooperate with me. Yeah, Kikuchi at home, 3 ERA, almost 9 Ks per 9, a whip of 1.3. When Kikuchi is on the road, he has made 16 starts on the year. His record is 1-8 with an ERA of 5.16 and a whip of 1.6. That going to change tonight against Milwaukee?
No.
Very unlikely.
Rough him up. They can hit. Yep. And lock down the 1 seed, too. Yes. Reds tonight, Hunter Green, $1.45 against the Cubbies. Cubbies clinched. Not going to be able to catch the Brewers. Big 4-game set here.
I pondered that, but I don't know if I want to lay 40 cents in a baseball game at this point of the year.
Okay. And how about Yamamoto? Look at this. $1.75 against Webb. Ooh. How many times has Logan Webb been like a plus 145, 150 take back? I thought he was so good on that stretch, 4-0 run coming into the game Saturday night, and the Dodgers handed him his lunch. But must win, 2 back, along with 2 other teams. Mets already won, as I talked about. Big 4-game set. They have St. Louis and Colorado after this. Total is 7.5.
Now, how about this? I don't want to lay 55 cents here, but somehow is there a way to get the Giants? It's on the run line here, plus 1.5 runs and minus 155. Maybe if you wanted to do plus a run with the Giants here.
Okay.
In this game.
Well, they couldn't cut Yamamoto last time out. So that goes back to, Webb couldn't get anybody out. I think the Giants only had one hit against them.
You know how that typically goes, though, right? I mean,
it flips.
It completely flips.
Mm-hmm.
So Yamamoto, I'm guessing, will not have a no-hitter going into the ninth inning in this game, and Webb probably won't give 10 hits in the first 4 innings of the game either. So I think Webb will probably correct it tonight. He'll be much better, and they're going to be batting in the top of the ninth, by the way, in this game. Maybe plus 1 run here. A reduced juice on the Giants in the game.
Yep. Correction. At DraftKings, Seattle is now favored to win the division. $1.20.
It flipped, huh?
They hadn't updated it yet. It flipped. But that big series coming up.
Yeah, the most wins in September. Guardians have 13. They're up on the Phillies, who have 12. And the Guardians were 40-1 to have that. That's looking pretty damn good right now. Mariners, I gave up on after the first 4 games of the month. And I have them at 14-1. They're suddenly in this mix now. They have 11, like I talked about. And the Orioles,
yes,
like I said, with this against the Yankees, they have 11 this month.
Any more thoughts on Raleigh MVP? Did you read any other interesting stuff or opinions after?
His number keeps coming down.
What in the division's key? And can you get to 60?
Well, again,
that's a big part of this, though, too.
If people are talking about that, if he gets a 60, it's over with. So if he hits 59, he can't?
Oh, right, yeah.
I find that to be a little weird.
Okay. Division, though, is huge.
Maybe for voters, yeah.
Who knows?
I put it this way, it probably doesn't hurt if they win the division.
Think you know sports? Start getting paid for it with Bettor Picks, the daily fantasy sports app where your sports knowledge turns into cash. Sign up today, get a free $10. No deposit needed. When you do deposit, you earn up to $200 in bonuses. Plus, for NFL kickoff, Bettor's giving you $40 for every friend you bring in. Download Bettor in the app or Google Play Store, or head to Bettor.app. Promo code VEASAN for your free money and deposit bonus. BETR.app. Get it now at the Apple or Google Play Store.
Caesars put up, it was either last night or earlier this morning, they put up World Series MVP. How about you take a shot at with Kershaw?
Oh, come on.
That's the way he closes his career.
Oh, how big is that number?
It's got to be.
Are they going to throw him?
I don't even know if they. Well, he's going to have a role because, again,
throw him.
I would maybe, if you have to, I would bring him out of the pen. I would trust him more than anybody else in the pen.
Well, they're doing that with Ohtani.
Yeah, I could. Yeah,
I mean, that's not bad.
The meat man, Steve Wyss, delivered in a big way last week by going 5-0. Let's find out what he has for an encore coming up next in the world of soccer here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board. Thanks for watching today on YouTube TV, listening on SiriusXM channel 158, or any of our great affiliates across the country. Right now we go out to the progressive guest line as the meat man, Steve Wyss, joins the program. He is with the Nordic Football Podcast. And because we win, great week last week, Steve, 5-0 overall in the program. That was awesome. You always bring in like just astute analysis, and when it pays off like that, it's really, really cool.
Hey guys, hope you're doing really well. Good to be back, and it was good to get that clean sweep on the board. Had lots of nice messages come my way last week, so thanks for that. And you know what? You're as good as your next bet, though, aren't you?
Yeah, of course.
We've got to do the same again.
Yep.
All right.
So let's begin here. Saturday in the Prim, West Ham, near the bottom of the table. They are third to the bottom. They have 3 points overall after 4 matches. They've been outscored 11-4 so far. They're taking on Crystal Palace. They've only allowed 1 goal in the Prim through 4 matches. What do you like between these two clubs?
I think the two clubs are going in completely different directions. You've got a Crystal Palace team who won the FA Cup last season. They're in Europe this year in the Conference League. They could have a good run in that. Against the West Ham side who are seemingly going nowhere. And the bet that I like is quite a safe bet, actually. I'm taking Crystal Palace on the draw no bet handicap. So if it does end in a draw, you're not going to lose anything. But one really good reason to take Crystal Palace on this line is they haven't lost a competitive game in their last 16. So I think that's a really compelling case to get on Crystal Palace. You mentioned there that there's got a great defence. They don't concede many goals. I think you've got to get the draw no bet on side because last week they were held by Sunderland 0-0. So sometimes they don't score enough goals. But the way West Ham are playing at the moment, terrible form. the two results at home have been horrendous. Crystal Palace aren't going to lose this match, and they really should be winning it.
All right, all these matches are Sunday now. What is going on with Aston Villa? 4 matches in. They've yet to score. No goals. They're taking on Sunderland. What do you want to do here?
Yeah, the only team in the top 4 divisions in England for soccer that haven't scored a goal yet. So I think, and it kind of hurts me a bit, because this bet feels slightly wrong. I've got to oppose them. Until they show something on the field that they can score goals, win matches, we've got to oppose them. And Sunderland on a plus 0.25 Asian handicap at plus 102. So if the match ends a draw or a Sunderland win, we are going to cash some profit. Sunderland, newly promoted team, so it's always dangerous backing these sides, but they have won both the home games so far. They're well backed by about a 50,000 capacity crowd. And, it's been a boisterous atmosphere so far, and Aston Villa needs to start playing a lot better at scoring goals. If this match was played on the first game of the season, Villa probably would have been minus 150 to win. That is how badly they've regressed. And, you can overreact maybe after 1 or 2 games, but we've had 4 matches now. They've also got knocked out of the cup in midweek. It's just not happening for Aston Villa. I mean, maybe at some point they show their quality. This is a really good conundrum in betting. Do you go with the recent form, or do you go with the sort of the underlying quality in the squad? But like I say, until Aston Villa show me a result, show me some goals, I'm going to have to oppose them. So Sunderland for me on the quarter ball handicap.
Good. We can revisit that discussion coming up with another club too. Newcastle just lost in the Champions League. Sunday morning, they, our time, 9 a.m. Eastern, they head to Bournemouth. How about Newcastle against Bournemouth?
Best bet for me of the weekend, Bournemouth. Draw no bet, minus 133. You just said it there. I mean, Newcastle have got less than 72 hours to recover for this game. And they've not just faced anyone tonight, they've faced Barcelona, one of the biggest clubs in the world. They've lost the match. They put a lot of effort in. Really emotional game for Newcastle and the fans. And I think there's going to be just a sheer come down and let down here for them. And I'd be surprised if they beat Bournemouth. Bournemouth have been in brilliant form. They've won their last 3 games. They are unbeaten against Newcastle in 5. The Newcastle manager, Eddie Howe, was a former Bournemouth boss. And I think Bournemouth always seem to raise the level of their game when they play Newcastle. And the manager for Bournemouth, Andoni Iraola, I think he's one of the hottest coaching talents in the world. He's a big club is going to make him manager one day. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised, if he's the next Manchester City manager when Pep Guardiola leaves. Wow. It'd be a perfect fit there. Yeah, he's that good. He's a brilliant coach. And Bournemouth, I'd be really, really surprised in this situational spot if they lose. Even on a normal week, I would still bet on Bournemouth in this game. That is how highly I rate them. Newcastle, dodgy away from home sometimes, probably going to lack energy. This is the last sort of team you want to face because Bournemouth are a really strong physical pressing team. And I think by the second half, Newcastle will not have much left in the tank. Their legs are going to be empty. And this just looks a really solid play. Again, quite a safe bet. You've got the full draw on your side. You're not going to lose anything if it ends that way. But I think 1-0, 2-0 to Bournemouth here. They can beat Newcastle.
Follow the money, Pauly and Mitch Wyss in the Sports Betting Network. The Meat Man, our guest, Steve Wyss. Follow him on X at Meatman Soccer because we win pod. Nordic Soccer pod as well, 5-0 last week. You had a prop that won. Howland scored. The marquee matchup is Arsenal-Man City. I can't recall Howland at this price. Anytime goal. Take it away.
Yeah, and I backed him again tonight against Napoli, and he scored again.
Yeah.
He was evens tonight. And look, it's one of those now where his scoring record, 19 goals in 21 games since the start of the Club World Cup, actually from the back end of the Premier League season. And if you'd backed Erling Haaland to score any time, you would have cashed for you in 17 out of the last 19 fixtures. One of those, he was only on the field for 32 minutes, and the other was against Tottenham. So, look, this is probably one of the toughest matchup he has this season. And this will be the biggest odds you will ever get on Haaland for Manchester City to score a goal, plus 175. And Arsenal might have the best defence in Europe, but it's interesting that Haaland did score in both matches against them last season. And there is an injury doubt still with Saliba at Arsenal. He's a really good centre-back. He supposedly should be back to fitness here. But I don't like the idea of someone even at, say, 80, 85% against Erling Haaland because this is a monstrous striker, physical. the best genuine striker in the world of soccer, like finisher. And I don't think he should be more than plus 130, plus 140 to score any time against any team. So even there'll be some people, watching and listening to this and saying, I just don't fancy him to score against this Arsenal defense because it's really, really good. But I've got to go back and say, at plus 175, Erling Haaland, you cannot not bet on him in this form. It would be stupid if he scored a goal. You would regret not betting on Erling Haaland, even though it is a tough matchup. It's like NFL, isn't it? You might be against a really good defense. You back someone anytime touchdown scorer because he's that good, and the odds are too big. It's exactly the same here. Haaland's a beast, and on penalty duty as well. Of course, you get a penalty.
Right.
That plus 175 looks massive then.
Very good. And I'll point this out right now, Steve, as well. For those with access to DraftKings, they actually are offering him at plus 185 to score in this game.
That's just you won't see that again this season for Manchester City ever. You might for Norway, but not Man City. So you just sometimes, even if you don't fancy it that much, you've got to get on the bet because of the odds.
You called this last week. You're coming right back with it. Let's go to League One. Lincoln City and Luton over 2.5 goals plus money. Luton Town last 3 matches 3-2, 4-1, 3-0. How about the over?
Yeah, I said get on this train for Luton overs, and I'm staying on it. I can't believe we're getting plus money on this, plus 117. Everything I said about the Luton game last week came to Aspire. They actually lost against 10-men Plymouth, and Plymouth were nearly plus 500 to win that game. But Luton Town have said, the manager said he's very happy to concede some goals because he thinks they're going to outscore everyone. And they probably will outscore most teams. It's just last week their defence let them down, and that will keep happening. So it's a blanket bet every single week. Luton Town over 2.5 goals. Lincoln, I don't think I've ever talked about Lincoln before because they are just simply bang average. And, I don't often bet on bang average teams because I prefer to bet on teams that are really defensive, really attacking, good or bad. They are bang average. But the home matches this season, all the home games for Lincoln have contained at least 2 goals. In fact, recently a 2-2 draw against Wigan at home. Wigan may be of a similar level to Luton, which suggests that maybe Lincoln may well offer quite a bit of a threat themselves. So, yeah, I'm sticking with this Luton train. Over 2.5 goals. They could cover this goal line all on their own, by the way. 3-0 away win last time. They had a road fixture. But equally, that defence of Luton is a bit alarming, letting them down a little bit.
30 seconds. How about Sheffield United? 5 matches, they've scored 1 goal. They just changed managers.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is they sacked their manager, Chris Wilder, in the summer, and then they reappointed Ruben Selles. They've now reappointed Wilder. This is wild, literally.
Yes.
They're minus money to beat to win at the weekend against Charlton. I wouldn't bet on Sheffield United, but I wouldn't bet against them either because new managers in soccer is a big thing. It can get a reaction from the players. So be careful if you're wanting to oppose Sheffield United. But crazy they brought Wilder back. It almost looks embarrassing on the club, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, great job, Steve. Keep it going again this week. Thanks so much for the time. We appreciate that.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
There you go. Follow him on X, at MeatManSoccer. Again, as Pauly was saying, Nordic Football Pod, and because we win, and he joined us there on the Progressive Guest line. Up next, we have look-ahead numbers to Week 4 in the National Football League. My advice to you, shop around for next week. Middles are available as we speak.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
A lot of football today. Little soccer, which is also football. But we have a heavy Survivor breakdown coming up for Week 3 at 6:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 out here on the West Coast. We'll get into the game coming up in about 15 minutes. Our best bets end of the program as well. We're doing 30 extra minutes on VSiN Primetime tonight with Matt Humans and Tim Murray as well. Always love the back and forth with those two gentlemen. Here, Pauly, we have look-ahead numbers to Week 4 NFL. And more books are posting these. So you know what that means? You can find some middle spots. And I did on at least 2 games that you're going to find out about here in this segment. First of all, the Thursday night matchup. Now, both these teams could be 2-1. If the Seahawks win this week, Cardinals win, it's 3-0 versus 2-1. Seahawks at the Cardinals right now. Cardinals between 1.5 and 2.5, total 43.5 or 44.
I'd have to take Arizona. Man, at home that low? That's a lot of respect for Seattle and Sam Darnold.
Mike Somich this week, VSiN.com, said take the 2.5.
Ah.
His reason why, right? They're playing the Saints this week, 7.5-point favorites.
Be impressive.
So if that holds true and they win and win by margin, and now this number is going up on San Francisco, the Cardinals lose, you probably won't get 2.5 again. You'll probably get a better number on Arizona, actually. At that point, I think there's logic to that. First game in Dublin, or overseas, shall I say.
Yep.
And we're going to be on the air with the VSiN Pro Football Tailgate Show on Sunday morning for it next week.
Yep, here they come.
Vikings against the Steelers. Pittsburgh as high as 2.5. Total is between 40.5 and 41.5.
I'll get back to you on this one. I got to see what happens with Pittsburgh and New England and see what Carson Wentz looks like.
Well, there's also...
and everyone who's hurt for the Vikings.
As Paul Charchian said an hour ago, they have 10 guys right now who could miss this week. So I have no idea what to expect from that team. Saints at the Bills. Bills are between 14.5 and 15.5 in this game. Total high 40s. So right now we're finding out that the Dolphins are approximately a 4-point favorite on a neutral against the Saints. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that 4 points better than the Saints on a neutral field.
Well, okay. Sunday will be interesting as they hit the road for the first time. They've kept them close at home. Let's see what Rattler looks like in a hostile environment, and that's the case coming up here with the next two.
Okay, so this is...
I think points in this game.
With Saints-Bills?
Yes.
Okay.
No?
Well, it's a Bills playing, so I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, especially with that offense. Titans at the Texans. And right now, I believe the numbers are still there. If you shop around different books, the Texans are between 6.5 and 7.5 point favorites. The total, 40.5, 41. Now, both, if you want to lay 6.5 with the Texans and take 6.5 with the Titans, take 7.5 with the Titans, you're paying $1.15 on both sides. I reached out to Paul Bovey today to get the breakdown on the math. And he used 2,000 as an example. He said if you try to get down 2,000 on each side, and I doubt these books will even take that much unless you're like a VIP there for the early lines. But on 2,000 for each side, you're risking 300. That's 7.5%. That's right around the percent that games land on 7. Actually slightly more. So based on the math, it's a lean towards the yes and trying for the middle at minus 115. But he said you could probably get a better number in play as well if you take the weaker number to begin with, which might be the 7.5.
Okay. And I like Houston. Got to save their season. First off, Sunday. But Tennessee's been a disaster offensively. You're going against that nasty defense. 31 third downs this year. 21 of them have been third or 7 yards or longer. It's the worst third down distance in the league. Undisciplined. 23 penalties. Ward's been sacked 11 times. That's too much.
Wow.
It's just they're not going to move the ball in this game.
No, he needs a lot of help there. This is the other game where you can find a middle. The Browns are playing at the Lions. Detroit between 9.5 and 10.5 points. So definitely shop around. Total is 47. This is a back-to-back job here. What's actually, if you want to go back-to-back-to-back and a belly-to-belly for the Browns, it's Ravens, Green Bay this week, then the Lions. That's a hell of a 1-2-3 stretch now.
Yeah.
To begin the year.
Yeah.
Lions at home, as we saw last week. Going back to last year, they typically, can take teams out in a body bag.
A lot of survivor candidates here.
So far, yes.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think of this? The Commanders are a 1.5 favorite at Atlanta. Assuming Daniels is going to be okay. Hell, he still might play this week at home against the Raiders. Unlikely, but he might. 1.5 at Atlanta?
No, it's a problem. I like Washington.
Oh, do you?
You like Atlanta?
I thought you were going to say you like Atlanta.
No, I'm not. I think Atlanta can be a problem, but you got to show me more defensively other than beating a rookie and beating a guy who's only made one start. So, and a banged up Minnesota team. The pass rush was great. They did a good job defensively, forcing turnovers. Minnesota embarrassed themselves, but I got to see more from Atlanta starting Sunday. You should take out Carolina.
How about the Eagles laying 2.5 or 3 at the Buccaneers? Eagles again, very tough spot this week at home against the Rams. And the Buccaneers are favored by, 7 against the Jets? I don't know if that 3 is going to be around next week. And, oh, by the way, let me remind you.
You're right.
The last couple of times that Tampa has played Philadelphia, they've kicked their doors in.
I was just going to go right there. Yep. Let's see who's back for Tampa, too. They lost another lineman, though.
I know.
Got a couple guys out for the year.
That's no bueno, man.
No.
Panthers at the Patriots. Paul, New England's 5.5?
The power rating is just out of whack with this team. What's the problem?
No, they got to win by 6?
Yeah, I don't
against
get
anybody
it.
in the league?
I don't get it.
No, neither do I.
Nope.
They could win this game by 30. There's no way I'd lay 5.5 points here with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Chargers are 5.5 at the Giants. That's a lower number than the Chiefs are this week. I don't get that one. The Chargers' power rating is lower than Kansas City. How?
Yeah.
I'm not saying
I think you got the must-win juice tax on that too, though, in a prime-time game. Get-out game, everyone will bet Kansas City. They know what's coming.
Yeah.
They got good news on Mac, though. He might only be out for a month or so.
Yeah.
So that was the good news with the Chargers. But I don't think the Giants are going to move the ball.
Right. And I'm not exactly sitting here yelling that the Chargers' power rating absolutely has to be higher than the Chiefs. I'm just telling you, and I've been saying this now for, 2 weeks, I'm way down on the Chiefs, I think, compared to most other people.
Yeah.
Colts at the Rams. Matthew Stafford and company laying either 4.5, 5, or 5.5 against Indy.
God, I don't like the spot.
We're going to find out a lot about that team.
Well, you're right. I don't like the spot, though. You're coming off the Philly game, and now you got to come home and take on the Colts.
Well,
but I want to see, because they're begging you to bet the Colts, too, Sunday. Why is that 3.5?
No, it's not anymore. It's 4.5.
Is it 4 now?
4.5.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Well, Jacksonville is at San Francisco. This was all over the map. The Niners were 3.5, as high as 4.5. Total between 44.5 and 46.5 a little earlier this morning. I'm guessing that Brock Purdy's going to play by that week. And I don't trust Trevor Lawrence to go out there and win a game. Now, can he cover the game? I don't think I'd take their side. Plus, it's not exactly like dogs have been barking here going back a long time. Bears are at the Raiders. Las Vegas is favored.
Oh, wow.
As high as 2.5 in the game. That's I would almost have to take the Bears or else punt.
Yeah. The defense has hung in there and done a nice job for Las Vegas, but it goes back to what's going on with the O-line, and can you get the running game going? And also, could you put up a total that low with what the Bears are doing defensively and how high scoring those games are?
We'll try to run through these here.
Right.
Sorry, Ravens are 2.5 at the Chiefs. They have to be favored. Sunday Night Football, Packers are as high as 5.5 at the Cowboys.
Where's the 5.5?
They were like 6 books I think had it posted today.
Okay.
Overall.
Yep.
And Monday Night Football, Bengals at the Broncos, Denver 6.5. 6.5.
And you missed the other one. It's a doubleheader. Dolphins are 2.5 against the Jets.
That wasn't on the board.
Okay.
I didn't see it on the board.
All right, DK's got it up.
Okay.
2.5 and 44.5. Very good. Think you know sports? Start getting paid for it with Bettor Picks, the daily fantasy sports app, where your sports knowledge turns into cash. Sign up today, get a free $10, no deposit needed. When you do deposit, you earn up to $200 in bonuses. Plus, for NFL kickoff, Bettor's giving you $40 for every friend you bring in. Download Bettor in the app or Google Play Store and head to Bettor.app. Promo code VSiN for your free money and deposit bonus. When the trade happened, right when the trade happened, Green Bay was 1.5 at Dallas. Grab that like a lot of people, and you get 5.5 that's out there as well. DK's got a 220 money line on the game.
I'm surprised by the Bengals number. That was my reaction. I think Jake Browning, you love the guy. You're the president of the fan club.
Absolutely. I can't believe he's not a starter. Yeah.
So what is this number with Joe Burrow? Broncos 1.5? I just think that number is way too inflated. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I would only look at Cincinnati in this spot.
Okay.
I could not lay 6.5 with the Broncos against a guy who's actually been more than serviceable.
Yep.
With those weapons. Teams in Miami's situation are 66% ATS since 2010. I will fill you in on the details coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.